What's up and welcome to Versus Battle Cards. After 19 episodes of fictional fights, 50 episodes of universes, and 30 episodes of Versus Battle Cards, we come to episode 31, which is my 100th Versus debate overall, which conveniently, and also slightly purposefully, lines up with the 8th anniversary for when I started Versus debating. I've given up on escaping, there's no way out. But that fight was Jin versus Ryu, so for my big 100, we're taking a blast to the past. But we're not just repeating history, we're switching it up and doing ultimate versions. Which is basically just composites. Composites just a boring word. So, who's gonna come out on top this time? According to the Discord poll, it's all Ryus. But let's find out what really happens in Season 4, Episode 100 of Versus Battle Cards. Thanks for sticking around so long. We'll start each category with their canonical stuff, just to see how well the original episode 8 years ago holds up. Then we'll follow up with the composite stuff. Beginning with their arsenal, canonically, Jin still takes the cake. Now Ryu is no slouch. He has his trademark Ansatsuken fighting style, which contains all three of possibly the top 3 most iconic fighting game moves ever. The Hadouken, a powerful fireball, the Shoryuken, a powerful uppercut, and the Tatsumaki Senpukyaku, a powerful spinning kick. In addition to martial arts, he can also harness different types of energy to boost his stats and grant him new abilities. There's the Satsui no Hado, which allows him to become crazy strong and transform into evil Ryu, gaining a new move called the Raging Demon, which attacks the soul directly. Then there's the power of nothingness, which grants him peace, tranquility, and allows him to exterminate dark energies. Pretty good, but let's look at Jin. He uses Kazama-style karate, and has a lightning-like ki that he can charge for extra damage to his attacks. He seems pretty barebones at first until he activates his devil gene. Then he gains just about any power you can think of off the top of your head. It's a 10 times stat multiplier, it lets him fly, shoot forehead lasers, he gets telekinesis and can force choke people, he gains a mild healing factor, he can summon protective barriers, he can absorb energies and add it to his own power, he has resistance to soul and mind manipulation, he can teleport, and he's gained enough control of this form to use several of its abilities in his base form. All he's missing at this point is invisibility and shadow clones, so yeah, way more than Ryu. The Street Fighter catches up big time once we composite though. Now don't get me wrong, Jin has done his fair share of crossovers too, but just about every crossover Jin has done, Ryu has been there as well, and doing more. They share a lot of the same stat boosting gems and power buffs and stuff in games like Street Fighter X Tekken and Project X Zone, but Ryu has gone on to wield swords, baseball bats, pokeballs, and assist trophies in games like Super Smash Bros. He can fly himself in games like Azora's Wrath, he got a horse in Japan's Sumo Cup, and even has his own Power Ranger suit. How cool is that? Not to mention the countless weapons of Fortnite, including but not limited to gliders, web slingers, lightsabers, the ability to do the Kamehameha, and guns upon guns upon guns. I'd say when it comes to composites, they're able to tie things up nicely. Now Ryu absolutely outnumbers Jin when it comes to weapons, but ability-wise, Jin still holds the crown. Whenever Ryu runs out of healing items, Jin's healing factor is going to be constant, especially thanks to Tekken 8's new health regen mechanic. And there's still not much he could do against being telekinetically grabbed or having his energy taken. Both sides have their perks, so it's a tie. Let's see what the YouTube predictions are thinking though. Both of these guys have pretty good speed feats. In the world of Tekken, there's plenty of bullet dodgers and missile deflectors, and Jin's new heat burst in Tekken 8 calls lightning from the sky. Then there's the Lightspeed Devil Beam forehead lasers, which characters like Heihachi have outpaced at point blank range. Add the 10 times Devil Gene multiplier on top of that, and 10 times FTL is what Jin is bringing to the table. Ryu has also dodged bullets and faced foes who could attack so fast their fists catch on fire at Mach 5. And in Street Fighter 6's World Tour mode, Ryu can jump in and aid you in fights no matter where you are. Even when Ryu's all the way in Japan, he can leap to New York to help you in just a second. That's 6,000 miles per second, or 20 million miles per hour. About 3% the speed of light, so Jin still wins this category canonically. When we look at composites, we'll need to come to Project X Zone, which is both Jin and Ryu's fastest appearance. It's a game where they both cross over with several other Bandai Namco, Capcom, Sega, and even a couple Nintendo franchises. They work alongside or go up against each other to save their own worlds, interacting in combat with characters from Xenoblade, Devil May Cry, and Dot Hack, all who have displayed in their own franchises infinite or immeasurable speed feats. This would leave Ryu and Jin tied for the speed category if it weren't for that 10 times Devil Gene multiplier. Thanks to that, it ensures no matter how equally immeasurable or infinite Ryu and Jin's speeds are, it always guarantees Jin is faster. Strength-wise, the fodder of the Tekkenverse, Jack robots are able to completely shatter extinction-level meteors, and mid-tiers like Paul and Law are able to deflect meteors 30 times bigger than that, yielding 20 zetatons of TNT, enough to destroy a moon or a small planet. Add the 10 times multiplier on top of that, along with the fact that Jin defeated Jinpachi and Azazel, both who were labeled as planetary threats, and planet-level Jin seems pretty good. Ryu has encountered and survived many fights with Akuma, who can destroy and sink an entire island with a single punch. He scales to Mike Hagar, who can create country-sized explosions with his pile drivers, and he's undoubtedly superior to E Honda, who is able to shatter an extinction-level meteor himself. But sadly, this is as high as Street Fighter goes in canon. The top only reaches Tekken's fodder. Canonically, it's another Jin win, but with composites, things shake up. Ryu and Jin have gone toe-to-toe with some pretty crazy foes. The solar system busting Rayman in Brawlhalla, the universe wiping Galeem in Super Smash Bros., some of Marvel's best, but once again we must come to Project X Zone, as just like with their speed, it's also their strongest appearance. Fighting and thwarting the plans of foes like Byakushin, who threaten the entire cosmology of several Namco, Sega, Capcom, and Nintendo franchises. And many of those franchises have their own alternate timelines, multiple universes, multiverses, and different planes of reality. Basically, imagine if the Justice League, Avengers, and Guardians of the Globe all had to team up to save the Image Comics, Marvel, and DC universes. So once again, Ryu and Jin appear to be equal, but Jin can't just steal another win with his multiplier. There are lots of different strength and durability buffing items that both fighters can use from their many different appearances in other games. It shakes things up a lot and makes everything really uncertain, so we need to take a closer and more specific look at the time Street Fighter and Tekken have clashed directly. In Tekken 7, Street Fighter's Akuma joins the fray, a character who is superior to Ryu, and he struggles against Kazuya and Heihachi, two characters who are inferior to Jin. In Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Akuma's rival is Ogre, another character inferior to Jin. And when Ryu and Jin both reach Pandora's box, Ryu falls victim to Pandora's power and disappears, while Jin overpowers it himself. Ryu and Ken are also both seen struggling to take down Kazuya together. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, according to the Spirit Board, Jin's spirit alone is powerful enough to possess Kazuya, a character who is depicted in official art as being superior to Ryu. And in Project X Zone, both of their strongest appearances, Jin's in-game strength stats are higher than Ryu's in both games. No matter who's in charge, Namco, Capcom, or even Sega, or what's being taken into account, in-game lore, multipliers, stats, author intent, it's clear that Jin is superior in strength to Ryu. Let's check the Discord predictions though. For the final bonus category, it's an easy win for Ryu, both in the canon sense and the composite sense. Canonically, Ryu's experience and control over his own power is just leagues above Jin. Tekken may be on number 8 now while Street Fighter's only on number 6, but remember, the time frame between Tekken 3 and Tekken 8 is only a few years, like 4 to 5. Kinda crazy, huh? Ryu's been fighting for decades. Ryu has also managed to suppress his evil form and found peace in the power of nothingness, while Jin still struggles with the Devil Gene. It was implied he had full control in Tekken 6 after defeating Jinpachi, but I guess they retconned that to retell the story of him gaining control in Tekken 8. And for compositing them, do I even need to say anything? Ryu has been in hundreds more crossovers than Jin. Ryu has even taken on Stewie Griffin. Jin is never doing that. But unfortunately for Ryu, despite this last-ditch effort to save himself, the winner is Jin Kazama. Both Jin and Ryu share their strongest and most overpowered versions in the Project X Zone series. And while that put them both on equal footing, external factors we get from compositing help Jin out a lot, like his 10 times multiplier to ensure he was always faster. And literally everything under the sun, from portrayals in other games to the in-game stats of Project X Zone itself to tell us Jin was always stronger. Now, Ryu has collected an extremely wide arsenal of weapons across his many adventures, while Jin doesn't have a single weapon to his name. But Jin's core abilities are able to help him out just fine. Where Ryu has a bunch of healing items he will eventually run out of, Jin's healing factor is constant. Ryu still, after everything, wouldn't have any defense against Jin just telekinetically choking him or stealing and absorbing his energy. Ryu has been in hundreds more crossovers in a week than Jin will be in his entire lifetime. But each time Ryu has crossed paths with Jin, he struggled against foes who are much weaker. And it looks like it works out that way in Versus 2. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with this outcome? And be sure to let me know what you think of the next fight. You can comment under this video, comment in my Discord server, vote in the Discord poll, or leave a video prediction. We talked about evil forms and devil genes way too much in this video. Why don't we get to something a bit more pure and wholesome? I'm a Christian, so let's bring in some good old Christian fun with Bible Man versus Larry Boy.